Thank you. All right, welcome. It is Wednesday, January 22nd. It is, 2025. It is 6:31 p.m., and this is the Scituate Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee meeting. On March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law a supplemental budget bill, which, among other things, extends the temporary provisions pertaining to the open meeting law to March 31st, 2025. Specifically, this extension allows public bodies to continue holding meetings remotely without a quorum of the public body physically present at a meeting location and to provide adequate alternative access to remote meetings. This meeting will be recorded by Scituate Community Television and can be viewed live on Scituate Community Television Facebook Live. The recorded meeting will be available the following day on Comcast Channel 9 and YouTube Scituate Community Television. I am going to go ahead and read the let me just say it, the Scituate Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Commitment Statement. This is a safe, secure space for all people, especially people of color, and for all underrepresented people and communities. This is a space where people can bring up challenges and questions without fear. We will assume best intentions. We will treat one another with politeness and respect at all times. This committee is dedicated to these standards. We want our members and others joining our meeting to feel welcomed and respected. Okay, so with that, I would like to call the meeting to order. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Angela. All right, calling the roll. Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti.
Yes.
Ms. Swope.
Yes.
Ms. Risha.
Yes.
All right, and I am a yes. Okay, so we have a quorum. All right, welcome everybody. It's been a while since we met, so some of this tonight, unfortunately, might be a bit of a refresher course. I mean, I have exchanged, a few emails since our last meeting. We'll get some updates and hopefully walk out of here tonight with some action items on some of the things that we were working on before. And if there's other things we want to discuss, we can obviously do that. There's been a lot going on in the world. Just leave it at that for now. Yeah. So Christina did circulate minutes from our October 15th before we adjourned for the holidays. She sent them well before that, but minutes from October 15th. I've reviewed. I don't have any edits, changes, what have you. Does anyone else have any commentary on the October 15th, 2024 minutes? Okay. So with that, I would propose that we approve those minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, calling the roll. Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti.
Yes.
Ms. Swope.
Yes.
Ms. Risha.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay, thank you. Alphabetically, we're back to you, Celia, I think, before we hit all the S's, which is 5 of us.
Got it.
So, all right. So I see a lowercase j with a period. I'm guessing that's Jamil. Maybe it's not. Maybe he can hear us. Maybe he can't. If that is you, Jamil, and you want to give an update, the floor is yours. It can be now or anytime you want to jump in.
Mr. Secor, let's find out for you right there. J period. You want to unmute yourself? I just sent you an alert. You want to try that?
It is I.
Oh, there you go.
Kind of figured.
This is high class engagement here. give me some video. Okay, cool. Thank you.
There you are.
Thank you, Shai. I appreciate you. It's good to see everybody. I'm
Good to see
on
you.
my phone. I'm on my phone because I stepped out of martial art. Go to that martial art, so I'm in the car doing this. Enough things are going on in the world. The updates from since the last time we met. I mean, a couple of things happened. We have our district lit committee. Just so folks know, we have begun to we're almost done. We've done 5 out of the 6 schools in terms of presentations of the equity audit that we did. So 5 of the 6 schools have received the highlights, but they also all the staff have received it and were encouraged to read it before we did the presentation. So this has been a great thing. And then we have one more school left to do, which is Cushion, which will be next week. But another additive to it is that it's not just when we mean staff, all staff members are getting it. For example, on February 5th, we'll be doing it with the folks who drive our buses, our dining staff folks, our custodial staff, and all the paraprofessionals, which oftentimes the folks that don't get the PD experiences because of contractual arrangements and stuff like that. So it's great that they will receive this PD as well. We're going to try to make that a mainstay on a regular basis that everyone gets to receive all of this. The other thing is that the lit open house, remember, we're trying to do this every 2 years. It's scheduled for February 26th. I know we'll have a meeting before then, and I'll let folks know. And it'll just be an update kind of thing. I don't think it'll be a hot issue. I don't think. But we'll see. Let's see.
At the library?
It'll be at the library, yep. It'll be from 6:30, 7:30.
February 26th.
The 26th. Let me make sure. Let me check this calendar real quick. I believe it's the 20th.
Maybe the 27th?
You are absolutely correct. It's the 27th. Okay, right now. Good job. Thank you, partner. Appreciate you. It's the 27th, yeah. That's when it is, Thursday, the 27th. Let's see. On Monday, we had an incredible MLK memorial, the 4th annual MLK memorial, theme being the impact of an idea, and it really was fabulous. The Dre family has shown representation again. Karina was amazing. Karina is, I want to say you're a niece? Maybe, yeah, niece or
Relative.
cousin? All right, somewhere in there. But thanks to the Dre family. The students were fantastic. Our keynote was one of our 6th graders. And he told a story of about a 15-year-old Claudette who actually who refused to give her seat at 9 months for Rosa Parks. Actually did it as well. But he spoke about the tandem of the two of those acts having impact on the rest of the world. But he was great. The STEP team came through again. We had Alicia, another singer, come through. Some of our younger scholars from the elementary schools, they spoke eloquently as well. It was just a great time, great energy. The high school select choir, they sang as well. So anyway, it was just a great event. Despite the weather, the custodial staff, the facility staff, they made sure that all the pathways were fine to walk through. The track was warm. It was nice. So great event. Everyone's been sharing positive feedback, and so I hope that continues to be the case. Then today, I spent a lot of time today. I don't know if we're going to get on this too much or not, but I spent a lot of time today sending positive energy, uplifting energy, and letting folks know that we're supposed to be alive right now. Paraphrasing what I said to folks. Let folks know we're the people that's supposed to be alive right now to navigate the times that we're in. It's an incredible opportunity to be active in education at this time, and let's be active in it. And reminding folks that our efforts regarding LIT are still intact. They still remain in place with our strategic plan. We're still moving in that direction, and this is what we're doing. We're not going away from that, and make sure you let families know that their children are in good hands, that they're safe. current concerns for what equity was going to look like, in particular in regard to folks who are marginalized in all kinds of ways. But I'm just reaffirming to folks that we're in Scituate and SPS, we still locked in and moving forward. And that is, and Bill is in line with that. Ryan is in line with that. So we're still moving in that direction. Just want to share it with folks. This team, the team of us right here, I don't know if folks think about it, but it might be one of those times where we partner with the town and just put something on a website saying, "Hey, we are a community. We're about love," kind of thing. We don't have to go deeper than that, but just let folks know. Just good to put that energy out in the world and let folks know that we are a community. We represent love and we take care of each other. Something to that effect. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can. We can rather, but just put something out there. I know that the folks that we sent it to they appreciated receiving those messages. So when I say folks, we send it to all of our presidents and then to other staff folks so they can use that language as well with their own staff. I mean, if people walking up to me, people from the community and from the school, Jamil, you all right? You good? If we need to fight for you, we'll fight for now. And I said, we good. We're all right. We're not there, but I understand the concern. I understand the trepidation there. I want to affirm with folks that we're good. We're gonna keep going. My thing is, if we're not good anywhere in the country, that means we're all not good. Because while the other states going through meshes and madness, that means we only that far from it before it can hit us. So as I understand it now, the folks in public ed, I think, are kind of in a different space. And what it sounds like regarding equity and how education works is, from what I've read and what I'm following, the conversations I've had, I'm led to think that, if anything, there may be a trajectory of having what happens in education be relegated to the states. And if that happens again, that's where we get to those places where Florida's probably going to look a lot different than Massachusetts. You know what I mean? And vice versa. But that only, we have a history in Massachusetts of being, I guess, liberal until we're not, kind of thing. But this is where the politics could get into the mix with it.
Jamil, so if I can ask,
yeah.
I assume you're talking about, and I lose track as to whether this was an executive decision to essentially shutter all federal DEI offices, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I think that it doesn't hit us. When I say us, I mean the public education folks in the same way, because I think I'll use the word protected, but it may be a little off because we're falling under the Department of Education. And so there's this whole different governing body for that, for us. But for anyone receiving state funding, I mean, funding from the government in a grand way, that executive order is going to have impact. And so I have been able to verify it, but I believe that includes state universities and anyone working specifically for the government that is resulting from a DEI title or effort, things like that. So that's where.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that they're all on paid leave right now, and they're going to get laid off.
What was said was that they would be for like 2 weeks, and by the 31st, they're supposed to have a plan on how they're going to let folks go. I think this is where the lit piece is coming in, because it encompasses DEI, but it's not DEI directly. You know what I mean? It's a different energy that we're working with. So there may be a number of more districts that may want to pick that up and move with it. So we'll see what's going on with that and how that lands. But this is where we are right now. With the Bill will have something in his Thursday thoughts this week about it too. I think you have a little something in there. But
appreciate that.
Sure, there was I'm trying to find. I haven't been able to identify if we have folks that are of immigrant status and feeling fearful in that way. Definitely want to continue to send love and affirmations of community to all our folks in the LGBTQIA plus community and our family there. And any folks that are marginalized, just let them know we got you. Good. So that could be something that maybe we put in anything we post as well. Folks just want to know they're not by themselves. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
I actually spoke to I was going to bring this up tonight, and I don't know where this lands, if we can do anything like this, if we even want to touch it because it's too hot. I spoke to Natasha either Thursday or Friday. I think I spoke to her on Friday of last week, and this was before the executive order about birthright citizenship. Some of the executive orders. I mean, there were a slew about immigration. I can't even keep track of them all. And she asked about what would the path be for Scituate to declare itself a sanctuary city. I'm just putting, and I mean, I don't know what that would entail. Um, it's something that they were discussing. She was discussing this at St. Luke's at her church, and she can't attend tonight. But um, I said I would bring it up, so I'm bringing it up.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I read up on it. I mean, it would have to be something declared by the select board. It would be a townwide thing.
Yeah.
It would be it would get hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying right here too. I remember that, and I just want to make sure. The other thing that I'm not sure of is I remember when this was upon us previously, speaking specifically with Natasha in mind. I know that, for example, in Natick, there were a number of churches that just kind of band together, and they created their own version of like almost an underground railroad where they were taking care of people. They wouldn't say anything to anybody. They were letting the freedom teams know. They said, look, the churches are working together, and that was it. They didn't want to put the burden on anybody else, kind of thing. I don't know if Natasha and other churches have already had that conversation now, but maybe something to ask. As far as the sanctuary city goes,
There's 8 cities right now in Massachusetts, based on what I saw, including Boston. And one of the things that she was saying is that there's really nothing on the South Shore. Not Fall River, not Brockton, not New Bedford, whatever. Scituate being who Scituate is, it would, there's part of me that says that Brockton should go for that before we do. But I don't know. It would be pretty symbolic for Scituate. I don't know how. I'm just giving you my thoughts. I don't know how effective it would be outside of drawing a lot of attention, which isn't always a bad thing. But it's this whole idea, and we've all probably read about it. What happens if and when the federal government, the National Guard, who knows, is told to go and round up undocumented immigrants, of which I think there's a couple 100,000 in Massachusetts. So, don't know. I didn't know much about it. I mean, I've heard the term for years, obviously, but I'd never had the reason to go and look into it very much. And I'm not sure that we're going to make any decisions tonight. I just want to make you guys aware that I had the conversation. And if you guys have thoughts, please jump in.
I think the primary part of being a sanctuary city is limited interaction with federal law enforcement around immigration. I wonder, so I think about this a lot. I oversee many large homeless family shelters, and we have a very significant number of immigrants. And, as you see in the news, talking about raiding family shelters in Chicago and everything, I anticipate that will likely happen to one of our sites as well. There are certain things like, have you ever heard of the red card?
No.
It's something we can purchase. You can go to the website for free, and it is a card. And on one side, it says a series of statements in the person's native language, and on the other side, it says it in English. And it says, I do not consent to a search. You're not allowed to enter my property without a signed warrant from a judge. It has some nice things. So certainly, I think a pro-immigrant piece would just be like resources in case someone in town doesn't have that. So that might be a smaller thing, but something that could have some impact.
Absolutely. I have a couple of them being sent to me, actually. Not just a few, but they are free. You can get them. They'll be helpful to have.
Yeah, I'll send everyone the link for the cards. You
I
can
was just gonna ask
purchase
you
them,
about
or you can go and just download the PDF for free and you just fold it and cut it out.
it's basically informing them of what their rights are if something like that were to occur, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
And there's a
it'd be helpful.
series, the Office of Refugee and Immigrants has the series of Know Your Rights trainings that are really great. We've done it at a number of our large shelters. So there's some really good resources out there that we could figure out what would be the best way to make available to folks.
Yeah, I would second Kate's comments about sharing resources, and maybe that's more the recommendation to the select board right now, like, in anticipation of, federal ICE or whatever doing these types of raids, a message out to residents with their rights, with helpful links, pro bono resources. Like, I know the last time, like, there were a whole bunch of lawyers from top tier global firms showed up at Logan to like support people pro bono. So like, then there are coalitions like Mira and others. So like, where can people go to get help? I think just that in itself says something, I think, too, about Scituate, that we are like promoting these resources in anticipation of residents feeling like angst over this.
I mean, maybe that's something we can put in that thing, and if we put them together, pour the resources into it. The other thing we need to find out from the chief what's the stance from the police if ICE comes in and things like that. I know that in the past, previously, this is before I was in Scituate, like in Natick, the chief said, we're not going to cooperate with ICE. They have to do their own thing, kind of thing. And that was significant. So maybe we find out from the chief what the plan is there.
I think Natasha's already spoken to him.
And do you know what that?
It sounded like he was saying all the right things, but I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Got you. I mean, I don't speak them soon as well, but these could be things that, again, we put a document together with the resources that would be helpful.
At the library, Ann Lattenville, a couple months ago, put together a community in crisis kind of resources list. So we have different categories, and there's different hotlines and direct, like, email addresses and, numbers and places where to go for different categories. I could share that with you guys too.
So this sounds like something we can't drag our feet on. Right? I mean, this thing could happen next week. I mean, heaven forbid, but it could happen at any time, right? So, I don't know, we can either we're not going to figure it out now, right? But who can, whether it's, I'm looking at my calendar, whether it's tomorrow or Friday or even Saturday, whatever, if we can get a subset of the team to get together, and like I think, Jamila, you recommended it a couple times now, and I think I agree. if we can, and we keep talking about how do we send out a message from our committee, and like that's something I want to talk about tonight. And I still don't think the select board understands exactly what when we would do it, how we would do it. I've been emailing back and forth. We still haven't met, and it's more on me than it is on him. But with Andrew Goodrich, who I believe is the chair of the select board right now, so we have, we can get his ear if we need it. And with something like this, we will need to. But long story short, this sounds like a really good opportunity to put something together, coming from us, coming from the select board, with the links. It sounds like a very kind of low hanging fruit, something that we can put together if people are on board with something like that.
Yeah.
I know I'm not a voting member, but I agree. I think, remember, I want to remind folks that the last time we were talking about messaging from the council, there were two, maybe three people that said, hey, we're happy to be some of the writers. They're not the only people, but I know that Natasha was one of them. And I think
Carrie, maybe. Carrie?
I thought Christina, you was one of them?
Carrie son. Yeah, there were two
Okay.
ones.
Right.
Yeah, so
But there may be people now who want to, and act on it and engage, and that's fine. But I just wanted to remind folks of that part. That was all.
so we can have 4 without having to write up meeting minutes. So I'll send out an email when we're done here tonight to this group. I'll include Natasha, I'll include Carrie, and I really think it's something we gotta probably get to like in the next couple days. All right, and then we'll have to turn it around and I'll
Tom,
go
I think
straight.
you'll all
Go ahead.
hit that 4 number, so I won't add myself. But in the meantime, if helpful, unless you're connected to them, Kate, I can see if Mira has like prepackaged resources, or I can connect you, Tom, or whoever with a contact there, so you don't all have to recreate the wheel. Because I feel like a lot of coalitions and immigration rights groups already have some stuff that we could perhaps like repackage. And I think the
Perfect.
other thing that I would recommend to the group is maybe a line at the end of that communication from the town out saying, if there are any immigration attorneys in town that would like to offer their services pro bono to a fellow resident, please get back to us or whatever. I think it would be helpful to do that, it's like neighbor to neighbor too. So I think it's like an added thing that we could do.
That's
What if
really nice.
what if the
I'll
select board pushes back and says we can't have this going out from the town?
And then, I mean, we're not authorized to send community. And then we'd have to go to another local group,
Stride.
like, oh my God.
Stride.
Like Stride, thank you. Yeah, and see if
That's where
we
it was
could all
leading.
share it out. It could just be a grassroots thing then, where we get Stride, we all share it. People share it personally. But yeah.
It could be that. The other thing is, I don't know, the South Shore Unity Council may be trying to do something as well. The other thing, I just remind folks when the madness happened with me, folks just put something together. They didn't, they weren't worried about who was who and stuff like that. Folks just did it as a group of people who just cared, just showed love. And so, I mean, that's what we get. If folks like, now we can't do it, all right, we don't have to do it that way. We can still do it. And, we still put something together and just put it out differently. That's all. I'm sure the folks in the library be happy to put something out there. The Freedom Team may be another angle as well. We're not sanctioned by the town, but we made up of folks from the town. So we got ways, but I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
And I've got some good lists of resources. I work with Mira and ORI and others. They've got some PDFs, Know Your Rights in 4 different languages. So I'll shoot an email either late tonight or early tomorrow, just with all the things that I have, because they're pretty well packaged. And then we can go from there. Christina, it sounds like you've got some resources as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just this is a great group. You guys are so on this. I feel grateful to all of you. You guys are way more equipped than I am. So that's fantastic. I yeah, I mean, I'll just try to pull it together, and we can even decide, you know, when we meet over email, if it even makes sense going to the select board. I right now my gut says it does, to make them aware that these are the types of things that we're working on, and I'm not challenging them to say no, but again, that's just kind of where my gut is right now. If anyone has any thoughts, but okay. All right. Anything else on that topic, or frankly, there's a lot going on. Anything else anyone wants to bring up in this crazy world? We don't have enough time to cover it all, do we? So
As a positive, while Jamil is here, I have to
give us a
say
positive.
just a positive, before I got on the call, my 6-year-old came home and he's a kindergartner at Cushing, and he was telling my husband, I overheard him, that he learned all about MLK. And my husband started asking, like, he shared very little. He's like, I don't want to talk about it, but he was very excited that he learned all about it. And so anyway, that just made me very proud. So that's all.
Cool. Cool. Um,
Send love. We send love to him. We send love and positive energy. Thank you for that.
oh, that's great.
Well, it was the
All right.
fourth annual, right? And I think I've gone to every one. Maybe I missed one for a snowstorm, but it gets better every year, Jamil. So you do a wonderful job. The community is very lucky to have you, and the kids. Hearing the children with their poems and just the unity and the positive message. It was a great place to be on Monday, so I'm glad I was there.
We do these things together. I'll never take that credit. We do it together with our collective energy. Absolutely. It's only getting better because we getting better. There we go.
Good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. So, I was going to bring up and again, this is more just trying to find the time to sync up over the messaging to get something in front of the select board to have a mechanism to do it. I'm not going to discuss that based on the discussion that we just had, because I think we're going to get there in the next week, where the rubber will meet the road, and between Jamie and Andrew, we'll get something in front of the select board for them to hopefully give us an opportunity to get some much needed information out to the masses. And I think you mentioned it, Jamil. I mean, something like that could and should grow legs, and it'll get forwarded time and again, right, outside of this community, which is great because the links are going to be universal, right, or at least Massachusetts. But good stuff. The other thing that, and this is more, we've talked about land acknowledgements, right? And the last time we met, we brought this up in a couple of different meetings, and we definitely have the ear of the committee looking after the Pier 44 Park project. I'm pointing because it's like right over there. I live really close to it, and so they're on board with the potential to do it, right? And one of the things I'll just share the most recent one. So they're learning too, as some of us are, as to what goes into it. Paul Barkowitz, I think I'm pronouncing that mostly right, who I believe is Carrie's uncle. So Carrie definitely has an avenue to talk to Paul. They presented in front of us probably like a year ago. So we're definitely on their radar. And he basically just said um, he certainly supports the concept of an acknowledgement of travel connections to the park, as well as our town, region, and state. He also acknowledges that, probably should use a different word, that land acknowledgement is nuanced. Um, he sent an article. I'll forward this around to you guys so you have it. Um, basically just saying, because he had asked before, he's like, do you have some sample text that we can start kicking around on their committee as to what something like that would look like? Um, and he asked questions like, is it a denunciation of colonialism, pledge to undo it? Does it include a commitment to land back? I mean, I'm saying that there's probably going to be, the answer to those are probably going to be no. Is it out of guilt rather than undoing ancient wrongs? These were all in the article that he read. And we should certainly include any tribal concerns with something like this. I don't know the first thing about what goes into a land acknowledgement. I mean, I've read some stuff about it and so forth, but I think that's going to be it's not a challenge that we can't overcome, but in order to we have to go about it the right way. I don't know if anyone's had any thoughts on that whatsoever, but Carrie's not in this meeting. I'll give her an update and see how she wants to go forward with that.
Do they have a timeline of their, the plan? Because I know everyone's curious. When is the old building going down? I think they're still in the early stage of, confirming
I think we've got time. Christine, I was looking at you nodding your head. Do you know anything about this? Or were you talking to a patron of the library?
I'm so sorry. I'm nodding politely.
Okay.
I think I'm an active listener.
That's great. That's great.
I think I'm agreeing with Angela. Like,
but you were nodding
what
your
is the
head that they
timeline?
have a timeline. You have no idea what it is, but they have a timeline.
Go.
Just giving you a hard time. I don't know what their timeline is, Angela. But Paul, I think he's the chair of that committee. So, and he'll talk to us anytime. So, this is something that I do think we have time on, but we've also been talking about it for a while. So it's one of those things. We can start making some progress on it.
And do we have any contacts with any, actual, folks that have, I'm trying to remember, because I know years ago, Ruth did a lot of work with Stride. Do we, maybe I can check that project plan and see what our notes were there, because, there was a lot of discussion going on that.
It always seemed to come back to that one woman's name, Madeline Monroe, I believe is her name. It's like MAWHTOWIN, something like that. Last name MUNRO. And if you look at, Indigenous Peoples Massachusetts, their efforts to, rename Columbus Day and all that type of stuff. Her name's all over it. And I believe she's down in Plymouth. There has to be more than her, right? But she was the person that seemed to kind of govern a lot of the movements that were happening in the statewide. She was in a lot of the articles with the towns that went ahead and made efforts to rename Columbus Day as Indigenous Peoples Day and so on and so forth. But and that's something we're going to have to. We'd obviously be remiss to not contact someone and learn and get them involved with something like this.
I would just say, depending on how conversations with the peers committee, evolve, I feel like ideally, right, we would love for a land acknowledgement to be included. I would also ask us, like, what's the, not menu of options, but like, I think sometimes we all collectively get stuck on language, like as Americans, like, what are we calling this?
Yes.
And, even like, the history of native peoples, people native to Scituate, like who are you know what I mean? Like that you don't call a land acknowledgement, but it still acknowledges the original inhabitants of the land. Like learn about the Massachusetts or, whoever the other native tribes. So I just feel like people get stuck on the phrase land acknowledgement. And I think we also get stuck on the negative. And I think if there's anything I've taken from the election, I think everybody feels like they've had it hard. So I think to tell one person they've had it harder than the other, or call somebody privileged, is a hard pill to swallow, whether they have privilege or not. So I think like just being willing to meet people where they are on their, journey. And I think getting something so that folks learn about the native population is better than nothing. So in those conversations, I would just like really stress that, actually, in all the work that we're doing, because I don't think everybody is as well versed on, for example, DEI as we all are. And so I don't think we can expect them to be. I'm off.
No, especially now because it's going to be quite popular to push back.
Yeah.
On everything. There was and it's like one of those articles. I bookmark articles every day from different newspapers, and then I never read them. And there was one in the New York Times on January 5th, and the title, and this is one of the ones that I haven't read. The title is "Enough with the Land Acknowledgements." So maybe I don't have to read it because I'm pretty sure I know what it says. But it's also in the New York Times, so they're probably basically saying something like what you just said, Celia. So I'm not saying we don't, and I know you're not saying we don't do land acknowledgement, but there may be other avenues to achieve the same purpose. It's a great point. What else do we have? What else do we have tonight? Just based on the notes, again, I'm from October and so forth. I mean, we discussed, well, we didn't discuss sanctuary cities. That's obviously new. We discussed Pier 44. Celia, you brought up affordable housing. We talked about future statements from the select board, which is going to be one of the things that is going to be part and parcel with our efforts on immigrants. Did anybody else have anything else they want to bring up?
No, just that I still haven't. I'm sorry. Sorry. I had meant to. I know, Kate, I think you said you were interested. Reach out to Jamie, before we would basically seeking to meet with the planning board, since there's a lot of alignment there. I think because originally we had the idea of meeting with all the various town committees and figuring out like synergies, and so the thought was to start with them. And now I feel even more so that I like have to do this within the next week or I'm never going to do it. But because the housing bond bill passed and became law, the state's going to go into implementation, and is actually putting together a 5-year housing plan to be released, I think, the first quarter, right, Kate? So I think it's a good time to reach out. And I saw that the planning board a couple of weeks ago had a meeting on actually ADUs, or accessory dwelling units, that are now a homeowner can, put one up by right, like in terms of zoning, like you don't have to go to get special approval to expand the housing stock. So I know they're on it, and they referenced like, what's the term? They reference complying with the Affordable Homes Act. So Scituate is actively complying with that and a number of other laws in regards to housing, which is great. It's not every town in the state is. So that's, kudos to Scituate, but it just reminded me that I should prioritize that. And I had made the note, Kate, that I will copy you on that when I reach out to Jamie.
Okay.
Sure, sounds great.
All right. What else we got? Anything else that we would like to discuss tonight? I did take note that, and I'm not sure what's going to happen after March 31st with the open meeting law extension to meet virtually. I haven't heard anything. I haven't received anything from the town, so we've got, February and March to keep meeting like this, and then hopefully it gets extended. I don't know. Let's see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry, that just reminded me. The other thing I saw today, because the governor released her budget, was there was like in one article there was mention of the Municipal Empowerment Act or whatever it's called. But that was the legislation last year that I flagged included something about town meetings having a virtual option for residents to join and vote virtually. And if you remember when we were attempting to suggest that, the feedback we received was that the state should act first. So I wonder if that will be included again, but then I also wonder what that means for committees like this continuing to meet virtually and if that's going to be coming up too once that's rolled out soon. But I'll try to keep an eye on it.
So they didn't agree to go virtual for town meetings, did they? Okay.
No.
Okay. That would have been interesting. It would have been awesome. But
Agreed.
yeah, I mean they would quadruple their attendance at town meetings. I mean, if they were able to do that. It's just so hard. And this is from somebody that doesn't have small kids like a lot of you on the phone. Anyways. All right. Okay, so again, just to recap, land acknowledgement, history, wherever we land. I'll get with Carrie and see if we can kind of get that dialogue going with Paul again. He's definitely he's with us on this. It's just he brought up some good points, and there were good points made tonight. And then in terms of almost like an immigrant cheat sheet or whatever, wherever we end up landing on this, I will get an email out to this crew, and I'll throw out just a couple of dates and times for us to just kind of sync up for half hour or an hour, probably Friday, so that we can kind of keep a momentum on this. Because again, this isn't something that we can wait 2 months on because stuff is going to happen. So I appreciate it. All right. So, yeah, go ahead, Jamil.
One thing, is there any possible feasibility to us maybe meeting every 2 weeks for a little bit? I don't know. If everybody can be there, I get it, but maybe that, because let's just stay in touch with each other because we don't know what's coming. I don't know. I just want to throw that out there. Just to, for folks to kick around. Folks may be like, nope, keep it the way it is. That's fine. That's fine. I just want to throw it out there. It's just something to think about.
I hear you. I think at the very least, certainly over the next couple of weeks, and we've got, especially just this immigration thing is just so white hot, and there's going to be every day. And trust me, there's a part of me that just wants to. I'm just being honest. There's a part of me that wants to shut off from politics for a while and just focus on sports, right? My son is a junior at Ohio State, Jamil, and they just won the national championship.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Yeah, he is a Buckeye. So I'm trying to just like kind of ride that for a little while, and then I make the mistake of listening to MSNBC or CNN on my way into work, and then I just changes my whole mood. But you know, none of us can stick our head in the sand right now, can we? There's too much going on, and there's too much to do. So I hear you, Jamil. You know,
Just don't be shy if like the group of you chats about next steps with sharing resources and we all need to like come together and do something.
Yeah.
I would, like I would hop on so we have quorum to vote. You know what I mean? Since it's already like 4.
absolutely. And I mean, one of the times I'll throw this out for, I do go into the office every day. Um, Finally, after COVID, I go in Monday through Thursday, but if anyone ever wants to meet on Friday at Need, the bakery, it's a great place to meet. And to meet face to face. And Carrie and I met there and had a great chat. This was a couple months ago, but you know, that's going to be in my email if people want to actually meet face to face and just work through this hot button issue. Let's just do it. And if people can't, that's fine too. We'll just do a Teams or a Zoom call or whatever. But like I said, I will get an email out and see who wants to jump in. So good stuff. All right. I think that is going to cover us for tonight. Thank you guys so much for jumping in. I know it's been tough to find times, and a lot of that's on me. But so it is 7:22 p.m. and I would like to call for the meeting to be adjourned. Do I have a second?
Good.
Okay. Calling the roll. Ms. Dre,
Yes.
Ms. Gilberti,
Yes.
Ms. Risha,
Yes.
Ms. Swope,
Yes.
and I am a yes. 7:23 p.m. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
I
Yeah.
Appreciate
Bye.